My name is Angelo Tedeschi. I've been with the Burge Group and Arrowhead Lexus in this facility since we opened in February 2006, and I've been fortunate to be with them, with the Burge Group, Mr. Burge, and my role here is sales. I've been in sales, and I've been in internet sales, and a lot of my role now is I've got quite a bit of, built up quite a few customers, clientele over the years. So I have a lot of repeat business, and I focus on that. And it's fortunate to have that great clientele, so they come back and see me, and it's easier to cater to them. And I stay in touch with them on a regular basis. This store is 14 years. I've been just starting my 17th year with the company, and I do have some, I guess, some customers that I've serviced and take care of over the years, where I've visited them, visited home. The one in Wickenburg, taking cars up to the top of the mountain out there, actually traveling through the riverbed when there's no water there. And it's the quickest way to get to the top of where they live, and delivered several cars over the years. Interesting, great family. Been to their home a number of times with the cars. Yeah, before the car business, I was in aviation business. Private aviation, Sky Harbor Airport, 20-some years there. I worked for a company there for almost 27 years in various capacities, general manager, vice president. We did like a car dealer. They had salespeople. We did service, parts, electronics, travel agency, fuel service, open 24/7, a number of employees. That time of my life was over after 2003, and trying to decide what to do, and Mr. Burge invited me over. One of his original salesmen was a great friend of mine, and I got started in the car business, and I observed it because I didn't know anything about it. I was on the consumer end all my life, never on this end. But the fortunate thing about being with Lexus and Arrowhead Lexus is that you got the best product there is for a car, that have the best ratings, most reliable, and the greatest retention rate of customers. And because of all that, I felt like, wow, the job is pretty easy as far as selling the product, because it sells itself. And Lexus is what I learned was it's a want vehicle, not a need, because you don't need a Lexus to go to work, but you want a Lexus. And it's a first-class operation, first-class car. So I'm extremely fortunate that Mr. Burge offered that to me, and I've been here, I've sold over 2,200 cars for the organization. To me, it's a lot. I'm sure there's others sold more, but it's quite a bit of accomplishment. And then, yes, there is quite a bit of repeat customers. I mean, 4, 5, 6 people, cars in the family is pretty routine, because the family will get them, and then the siblings may get cars. And so I've been real fortunate in that area, and I really appreciate that opportunity that I've had. My record customer, since we're here, in 10 years, purchased 13 cars. So his story was his wife, she would not let him come in here by himself, because when he did, to the visit or service, he'd go home with a new car. True story. The crowd, I mean, I've got customers 95 years old. I got one, the military people, why do you buy a car? Why do you buy a Lexus? Because I want to. Every 2 years, I want to. There's another one. Another story is what's the funniest thing is I'm from Brooklyn, New York, and just last 2018, a couple came in and got to talking, and he's a retired New York policeman from Brooklyn, from the precinct that I lived in. So it's, talk about a small world. I've met others from the neighborhood. I've got one that comes in regularly. He's from my neighborhood in Brooklyn too. He's about, he's probably 7 years older than me, so we talked about some of the stuff in the neighborhood. And but to find a cop he's retired, of course, that was in the precinct, that was in our neighborhood precinct, it was different back then. People, I didn't know them then, but people were, you knew more, you knew the mailman, you knew the cop, the police back then and back in the day. I'm talking about you going back in the 60s and 70s. And I met a couple here, so it's been a real pleasure to do that, meet them. I've enjoyed them, they've enjoyed me, and they come back to get another car. They don't stay with one. We expanded from the Bell Road store on 19th Street and Bell Road, and they opened this facility here, and they opened one in the Scottsdale, North Scottsdale. And I looked at the geographics, and I live right in the middle. But I had a lot of clientele out here, and the seniors, a lot of seniors, and they were so pleased that we opened here because it cut their trip in half from Sun City West to Bell Lexus. And so I decided to come here, and worked out real good over the years. I think the personalized contact, personalized service, everybody here focuses on the customer or the client at hand. They focus on that person, and they give them their attention. And like myself, we spend time with them and get to know them a little bit. And before you know it, you got a rapport built up. You've got kids or grandkids, or you traveled here, you traveled there. I mean, we do a little traveling and talk to these people. Oh yeah, we've been to Australia too. We've been here, we've been there. And it just strikes up a great conversation, and it just makes the whole experience, the Lexus experience, the Arrowhead Lexus experience, it just goes smoothly. Actually, I got some customers that were aviation customers and now my car customers. And this guy owned a Golf Digest magazine, and he got a couple of the first starships that were out there, and big notoriety, big publicity, and so forth. And if I recall, Budweiser, I think, got the first one that actually put in production. Then Golf Digest got next two, I believe, and there was only so many in the country. It was just a unique composite airplane. It has its experiences, its problems, but it was pretty neat. And then I go back to the electronics in there. In the early days, had a 40% failure rate. And then you get to these cars like this Lexus, this technology, we got like no failure rate. And if you think about it, it's very versatile, very well received, and easy to operate. And then the airplanes came along later. I know their environment's different because of the hot and cold and so forth, but that was one of my favorite airplanes just because it was unique. And before that, I worked on the automobile assembly line in New Jersey. We made Cadillac and Oldsmobiles. Worked for that a couple of years. So that was another experience that I'll never forget. Amazing how things went back in those days, and assembly line wise. And I know a lot more robotics now, but I don't think a lot more changed, but just a lot more robotics right now. So kind of my experience. I've been married 40 years. I got a daughter, lives in Australia. She's a PhD over there. She's into sciences. And I've got a son and daughter-in-law here. They're technology people, and my daughter's married in Australia, and married to he's an insurance accrual person. They got great deals going. They live on the west side of Australia. And I got 4 grandkids, 4 grandsons, and only one left in high school. All 3 are out and about, and either in college or working. So 71 years old. As long as they let me stay here, I'll keep working. There's no pressure, so I'm okay with that. So I've had a lot of good experiences between the aviation and then the Lexus. Just Lexus, the only cars I've sold. I've owned half a dozen of them, and great car. Get in, start it up and go, and super reliable. So it's like I can remember Mr. Bird saying it's the best automobile built on an assembly line. It's not handmade, it's built on an assembly line. Assembly line is the best automobile ever made. They don't make that many compared to a lot of domestics. There's a fraction of them, but they're well made, and they're all, we get them, you deliver them, sell them, deliver them, and you don't have to, salesman does not have to worry about a problem on the cars. Not like the old days. It's not like the radio knob's going to fall off. That's back in my day. You don't have to worry about a checklist anymore because the cars are just perfect. So proud to sell the Lexus product that way and own them.